let me give you a little reality check. And you don't deserve half the things that you do because you're just not where you want to be. I mean, you don't deserve to drink, you don't deserve to smoke, you don't deserve to party, you don't deserve to play the PlayStation. It's just not where you want to be. And if you say, oh, but I'm grinding so much, bro, zip it. Are you where you want to be? Then get to work. There's always going to be someone better than you. There's always going to be someone that's working harder than you, and that's grinding more than you are. And if that someone can do it, so can you. But do you know who this someone is? It's you. It's you. Just more disciplined and productive. And if you always chase the other person that is more disciplined and more productive than you already are in the present, then you're just gonna get more disciplined and more productive. You're not comparing yourself, because I do agree with the term comparison is the thief of joy. I do agree with that. But you're not comparing. You're just reminding yourself that there is someone better than you. And that someone is you. So chase yourself, because it is a game against yourself. It's you against you. Not you against Ronaldo or, I don't know, some other guy. It's you against you only. One thing that can really benefit you also is realizing that there's other people. Meaning that you can listen to other people. There's other people that lived through something similar that you have, or maybe exactly where you want to go. Some other people lived through that. And if somebody offers you advice and you're like, nah, I don't need it, I know my path, I know what I'm doing, you're just plucking your ears in, and you're not wanting to hear the outside world, the reality, and the people that want to come to help you. So always, but always, be open to hear somebody else's advice. Because I have had so many interactions with people who I thought were gonna give me bullshit, but almost every advice helped me. Almost every advice gave me a lesson. And that's crazy. It's like the probability of them giving me bullshit and giving me something of value is much greater on the value side, which I thought it could never be. But it's important that you don't lock yourself in and don't be boxed in. It's like you're just boxed in and you're doing your everyday stuff. And when somebody comes to you and talks to you, you're like opening up and you see the world differently, because you may even agree with the view of somebody different that can help you. So be open to other people's advice. Also, the best thing, the best way to get humble is to humble yourself before the Lord. Because so many times do we forget that our body is not our own. It's not our body. Like this skin, look at that. It's not our own. It was all given to us by God. And whenever we're doing these sins, when we're lusting, when we're having lustful sexual sins, when we're drinking, smoking, partying, staying up late, eating poorly, whenever we're doing those, we are acting as if our body is our own and that we can do whatever we want. I mean, yes, we can do whatever we want, but that's a sin. It's a sin because we do what we want, but our plan is definitely not better than God's. We established that in the last video. And let's take a look at impatience. To me, that's like the most horrible sin, the biggest sin in my life, because impatience, what is that? Impatience stems from the pride that you deserve of what you're asking God for. Maybe you're asking God for something, for a wife, let's say, but you're impatient for that because you feel like you deserve it. You're asking God for something and you're impatient because you feel like you deserve that something, but you don't. You don't deserve anything as a Christian, because Romans 6:23 says, the wages of sin is death. The wages of sin is death. That is the only thing that we deserve. Everything else is a gift from God. Everything is given from God, right? So if you wanted to use the time that God has given you, if you wanted to use that time to spread God's word, to tell people about God, to work on your family, to grind for your family, get to work and do it. No, nobody is stopping you. Nobody. That is the way you humble yourself. You realize that God has given you 24 hours in your day, every day, in which you wake up. Be grateful that you woke up. Then be grateful that you can spend those times how God intended you to, by His plan. Don't do it by your plan, because your plan is definitely not better than God's. But do it by God's plan. And then if you really want to take care of your family and you really want to spread God's word, which is right, then go ahead and do it. Then let's also take a look at James 4-6. It says, God opposes the proud. Usually, you know how God opposes Satan. Why is that? Well, Satan is prideful. God is humble, but Satan isn't, and that is why they oppose each other. Satan is prideful and he's not humble, so God opposes him. But then you take a look at yourself and you're like, wait, I'm pretty prideful. I'm not so humble. Wait, so does God oppose me? Yes, He opposes you. And do you really want to have God oppose you? Do you want to really be opposed by God? I don't really think so, bruh. So now it just comes down to, how do you humble yourself? I mean, you really realize like you don't want to be opposed by God and you must humble yourself. So how do you humble yourself? Well, let's take a look at Jesus Himself. Let's take a look at the Lord Himself. Lord is humble. God is humble. Isn't that kind of crazy? I mean, can you imagine you, okay? Imagine you hypothetically. You create everything. You create these trees. You create me. You create humans. You create the world. You create the universe. You create water. Speaking of water, hold up, hydration time. You do it as well. Imagine you created everything and you're humble. How crazy is that? Because now I think to myself, like, if I created everything, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'd be pretty arrogant. I mean, I think like, yo, I'm awesome, and God is awesome, because He created everything. God is awesome, but He's humble. So how much more humble should you be? Amazing, right? How somebody can be so humble after creating everything. He can be so humble. God is really good. So we've covered everything. We've covered that you need to understand that you don't deserve the things that you do. You don't deserve to lack in something if you're not where you want to be. Get to work. You feeling tired? You want rest? You're just lazy and get to work. Yes, it's good to take a break sometimes, but really realize if you're even grinding at that point, you need to grind to get to a break. Realize that you don't have to compare yourself to others but yourself, your more disciplined self, your productive self, better productive self. That will push you to go further beyond. And always listen to other people's advice. I feel like if you ask an old person some advice, they could give it the best advice, but that's just like my opinion. I haven't tested it. But when I listen to my friends, when I listen to strangers or club mates in some sport, they sometimes give the best advice. I mean, other people have lived through other different occasions and have learned different lessons. So if there's somebody that's on your path, that's on the way that you want to be and that has achieved the things that you want to achieve, go to them and ask them for advice. That can really benefit you, bro. And the last best thing, humble yourself before the Lord. Realize that your body is not your own, but it is given by God. It is a gift. Everything that we see, everything that we have, that is a gift by God. Remember that a patience stems from the pride that you deserve or what you ask God for. So if you're asking God for something and you're impatient, it is because you think you deserve it, but you don't. The only thing that you deserve as a Christian is Romans 6:23. The wages of sin is death. That is the only thing that you deserve. Everything else is a gift. Everything else is a gift. So remind yourself of Romans 6:23. Also remind yourself of James 4:6. God opposes the proud. Don't be prideful, don't be arrogant, but be humble. Because God is humble. Under everything that He's done, He's humble. That's really brilliant. And idolize Him, because God is an idol. God is superb. And we should really follow His steps of being humble and righteous. So I hope you got some value out of this video. Leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment as well. And I hope and pray that God will give you challenges to make you more humble. Bye, brother. Stay righteous and stay positive. Yeah, bye-bye.